Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive?
Always.
This time we're tackling coaching.
Specifically coaching in schools.
And not just like the surface level stuff.
Yeah!
We're going deep into like the psychology of learning.
I like it.
Our main guide this time is learncoaching.pdf.
Ah, by Thomas Staub.
Yeah, from October 29th, 2024, so pretty recent stuff.
Nice.
We'll be looking at some really fascinating concepts.
Like?
Adler's 5 life tasks, for one.
Those are always thought-provoking.
And the whole idea of encouragement.
Going way beyond just saying, good job.
Right. And get this. We'll even be talking about how we each create our own realities.
Oh, and how those realities can sometimes get in the way of learning.
Exactly.
Looking forward to unpacking that one.
So, okay, let's start with the word coaching itself.
Good place to start.
The document mentions it comes from the image of a horse-drawn coach.
Oh, that's a classic analogy.
Right, like a coach guides and supports, helps someone reach their destination.
But in this case, the destination isn't a place. It's more like a student's potential, their goals, their well-being.
Makes sense.
And to do that effectively, you need to understand the psychology of each student.
Absolutely. Learning is so personal.
It's influenced by thoughts, feelings, experiences.
Everything.
Which is why the document emphasizes the difference between coaching and psychotherapy.
Yeah, it's a good distinction to make.
We're talking about helping students who are mentally healthy thrive.
Not treating a clinical condition.
So then what is the psychological foundation for this type of coaching?
Well, the document points to individual psychology.
Okay, individual psychology.
Developed by Alfred Adler.
Adler. That name rings a bell.
Oh yeah, he's huge in the self-improvement world.
So what's his basic philosophy?
Adler believed that everyone is inherently equal.
Equal in what sense?
In their ability to shape their own lives.
Interesting.
He saw everyone as capable and resourceful.
Even when they're struggling.
Especially when they're struggling.
So it's less about fixing someone and more about tapping into their strengths.
Exactly. And two things that are central to Adlerian psychology.
Hit me.
Encouragement and a sense of belonging.
Makes sense. Feeling supported is huge.
Huge. These are basic needs that fuel growth.
And resilience, right?
Absolutely. And interestingly enough,
What's that?
one of Adler's students, Rudolf Dreikurs, applied these principles to education.
That's cool. So he took these ideas and put them into a classroom setting.
Exactly.
It makes you think about how important a supportive classroom environment can be.
Oh, totally. It can totally impact a student's willingness to learn.
And take risks.
Yeah. When you feel safe, you're more likely to try new things.
Okay, so now Adler outlined these 5 life tasks
Yes.
that everyone needs to master for a fulfilling life.
It's like a checklist for overall well-being.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are these tasks?
Work, community, love, self-worth.
Okay, those make sense.
And spirituality.
Wow, that covers a lot.
Pretty much every aspect of human experience, right?
Totally.
And here's the key point.
Yeah.
Struggles in any of these areas can spill over into others.
Including learning.
Exactly.
So let's say a student is dealing with self-worth issues.
Right.
That could totally impact their confidence when it comes to challenging subjects.
Exactly. It's a domino effect.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And the document suggests a great resource for this.
Ooh, tell me.
Dreikurs' book, Children Challenge Us.
Definitely going to check that out.
It's packed with insights about these life tasks and how they play out in the classroom.
Sounds fascinating. Now, the document also talks about encouragement.
Yes.
And it's about way more than just a good job.
It goes much deeper than that.
Think about a time when someone truly made you believe in yourself.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
It wasn't just a generic compliment, right?
No, it was something specific.
Something that acknowledged your effort, your progress, your strengths.
Yeah, like they really saw you.
That's the magic of encouragement. It works from the inside out.
It shifts a person's internal attitude.
Helps them build self-belief.
Exactly. And Schoenecker, who's a big name in Adlerian psychology,
Right.
he has some really great tips for encouragement.
Like what?
Things like active listening, focusing on effort over outcome,
I like that.
and expressing genuine confidence in someone's abilities.
So it's like a toolkit for empowerment.
It really is.
So for everyone listening,
Yes.
pay attention to how you encourage others today.
I love that.
Could you be using your words to empower someone even more?
Good food for thought.
Now let's talk about another Adlerian concept, lifestyle.
Okay.
It's like a blueprint for how we approach the world.
It's our ingrained patterns of behavior.
Beliefs, goals,
All the things that shape how we see things.
and how we act.
It's the lens through which we view everything.
And the document emphasizes how much our lifestyle affects how we see ourselves, others, and our goals.
Oh, for sure.
And this plays out in so many ways in the classroom.
Like how?
Well, imagine a student with a perfectionistic lifestyle.
Okay, I can see that.
They might avoid asking questions because they're afraid of looking less than perfect.
Right. We're getting so caught up in the details that they miss the big picture.
Or on the other hand, you have a student who's a people pleaser.
Ah, yeah.
They might not speak up about their needs or disagree even when they should.
Because they don't want to rock the boat.
Exactly.
It's so interesting to think about our own lifestyles, too.
Right. How are they affecting us?
Affecting how we learn, how we interact with others.
How we approach life in general.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's something we should all think about.
Definitely. And this is where things get even more intriguing.
Ooh, lay it on me.
We're talking about those unconscious patterns that can hold us back.
The stuff we don't even realize is going on.
And that brings us to another key idea from Adler.
Yeah.
Finality.
Finality.
It's the idea that our behaviors are often driven by hidden goals.
Hidden goal.
Goals that we're not even aware of.
Oh, that's interesting.
Has this ever happened to you? You're procrastinating on something.
All the time.
Even though you're actually excited about it,
Yep.
or you avoid a conversation you know you need to have.
Ugh, yeah, I hate those.
It's like self-sabotage.
It really feels that way sometimes.
That's where finality comes in.
Okay, I'm listening.
It suggests that these seemingly irrational behaviors are driven by unconscious beliefs.
Like deep-seated fears or desires.
Exactly. The document gives some examples.
Give me one.
I must be perfect to be loved.
Oof, that's a heavy one.
Or I must always be in control.
So these beliefs are running the show without us even knowing it.
Like a hidden script.
Wow.
So let's think about this in the classroom.
Right.
A student might avoid asking for help because they secretly believe they have to be perfect.
To get the teacher's approval.
Right. Or they might procrastinate because they're terrified of failing.
And losing control.
Exactly.
It's like there's this whole other layer of stuff going on beneath the surface.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
Mhm.
And the challenge for us is to try and identify those finality beliefs.
The ones that might be holding us back.
Yeah, whether it's in learning, relationships, any area of life.
And once we identify them, we can reframe them.
So powerful.
It's empowering to know we can change those hidden scripts.
We're not stuck with them.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears to something really fundamental.
Okay.
The need to belong.
Oh, that's a big one.
We all crave connection, acceptance, feeling valued.
It's a core human need.
And it affects so many things.
Our self-esteem, our confidence.
Even our willingness to take risks.
It's true.
When we feel like we belong,
Yeah.
we feel safe to be ourselves.
We can express our ideas.
To make mistakes and learn from them.
Without judgment.
Right. And this is huge for learning.
Absolutely. A classroom where students feel seen and heard.
Where they feel safe.
It fosters a sense of belonging that encourages them to engage more deeply.
It makes them comfortable asking questions, sharing their thoughts.
Even disagreeing.
Because real learning requires that freedom, right?
It does. It's about curiosity, critical thinking.
And the courage to step outside our comfort zones.
Okay, now for something that might seem a little counterintuitive.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Minderwertigkeit.
Minderwertigkeit.
It's German for feelings of inferiority.
Interesting.
Adler believed that these feelings could actually be a driving force for growth.
Really? But how?
It's all about how we respond to them.
Okay.
Adler identified two common responses: overcompensation and learned helplessness.
So walk me through that. What do those look like?
Imagine a student who's struggling with math.
Okay.
They might overcompensate by striving for perfection in other subjects.
Trying to prove they're good at something.
Exactly. Even if it means sacrificing their well-being.
That sounds stressful.
It can be. It's a vicious cycle.
And what about learned helplessness?
That's the opposite.
Okay.
It's when a student faces challenges and starts to believe they have no control.
Like, why even try?
Exactly. And they give up, avoid challenges.
It's heartbreaking.
It is, but the good news is
There's good news.
we're not stuck with these responses.
So coaching can help.
It can help students recognize these patterns, challenge those beliefs.
And develop healthier ways of coping with those feelings of inadequacy.
Exactly.
It's like shifting from, I'm not good enough, to, I can learn and grow.
That's the message.
Now, to bring in another perspective,
Sounds good.
Klaus Grau identified 4 basic psychological needs.
4. Okay, tell me more.
Orientation and control.
1.
Pleasure and pain avoidance.
2.
Self-enhancement and protection.
3.
And connection and belonging.
4. And these needs are constantly interacting.
Yeah, influencing our choices and motivations.
And how we learn.
It's fascinating to think about which need might be strongest for you.
Yeah, and how it's shaping your learning style.
Someone driven by pleasure and pain avoidance might avoid challenging things,
They stick to what they're good at.
preferring easy wins over potential growth.
Makes sense.
And someone driven by self-enhancement and protection might prioritize grades above all else.
Even if it means sacrificing genuine understanding.
Right. It's like we each have our own internal compass.
Guiding us on our learning journeys.
And understanding that compass is key to unlocking our potential.
Absolutely. Now get ready for a real mind bender.
Oh, I love a good mind bender.
The concept of constructivism.
Okay, constructivism.
It's all about how we create our own reality
our own reality.
based on our experiences and interpretations.
So it's not just passively receiving information.
No, it's actively shaping it
We create our own understanding.
through our own lens.
The document uses a great example to illustrate this.
Oh, tell me.
It describes a fish trying to draw a cow based on a frog's description.
Wait, what?
I know, right? It's a funny image.
A fish drawing a cow.
And of course, the fish's drawing looks nothing like a cow.
Because it can only imagine it through its own fishy experiences.
It's a great way to show how our constructed reality affects our understanding.
If your preconceived notions clash with new information,
It creates a barrier to learning.
imagine a student who believes all wars are bad. They might struggle to understand the complexities of historical events.
Because they're trying to fit new information into a framework that doesn't allow for it.
Exactly. It just doesn't compute.
So coaching can be so helpful here.
Absolutely. It helps students become aware of those frameworks.
Their assumptions and biases.
And it encourages them to question those assumptions
To be open to new perspectives.
and to constantly refine their understanding of the world.
It's not about telling them what to think.
No, it's about helping them think more critically
To understand their own thought processes.
and how those processes shape their reality.
It's a skill that's valuable beyond academics.
For sure, it applies to everything.
My brain is doing backflips with all these concepts,
It's a lot to take in.
but I'm loving it. It's fascinating.
It is. It really makes you think differently about learning.
Okay, so speaking of thinking differently,
Yeah.
let's talk about systems thinking,
Ah, yes. The idea that we're all interconnected.
like a giant web.
Exactly. We don't exist in isolation.
So it's not enough to just focus on the individual student.
Right.
We have to consider the whole system they're part of.
Their family, their classroom, their community.
It's a whole ecosystem.
And that's where a systemic approach to coaching comes in.
Okay, I'm listening.
It helps us understand that even small changes can have ripple effects.
Like the butterfly effect.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Think about it like a mobile.
Okay.
You tweak one little thing,
Yeah,
and the whole thing starts swaying and shifting.
I can see that.
So let's say a student is struggling with math anxiety.
A pretty common issue.
Oh, for sure.
A systemic approach would look at the whole picture.
Not just their math skills.
What else would you consider?
Well, maybe there's pressure from their parents.
To excel in math.
Right. Or maybe the classroom culture is very competitive.
So they're afraid to make mistakes.
Exactly. Or maybe they had a bad experience with a math teacher in the past.
So many factors could be at play.
It's about seeing the interconnectedness of it all.
And then you can start to identify potential solutions.
Exactly. Which brings us to the solution-focused approach.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Me too. It's about finding solutions, not dwelling on problems.
It's so easy to get bogged down in the problems.
It is. But this approach is all about shifting the focus
To what's possible.
to what's working.
The document highlights Steve DeShazer, who was a pioneer in this area.
Oh, yeah. He had some great principles.
Tell me.
Okay, ready? If it's working, don't fix it.
I love that.
So simple, but so true.
What else?
Find what's going well and do more of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And my favorite, if something's not working, do something different
It's about taking action, experimenting.
instead of overthinking it.
I'm feeling inspired.
Good.
So for anyone listening, what's one thing you could change right now to move towards a solution?
It doesn't have to be huge. Even a small step can make a difference.
Okay, now let's talk about the interplay of thinking, feeling, and acting.
Those are the big three.
They're all connected, right?
Totally. They influence how we learn.
It's not just about what we know
No, it's also about how we feel.
and how those feelings translate into action.
You can have all the knowledge in the world.
But if you're frozen by fear,
You won't be able to use it.
Or on the other hand,
Yeah,
you might act impulsively if you're not in touch with your emotions.
that's a good point.
The document talks about how imbalances in these areas can hinder learning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like a student who overthinks everything but never takes action.
Analysis paralysis.
Or someone who jumps into action without thinking things through.
And ends up frustrating.
That's where a coach can step in.
And help students become more aware of these interconnected aspects.
Help them connect their thoughts to their feelings and actions.
Create a feedback loop.
It's so important. Now, let's talk about the coach's mindset.
Oh.
It's all about empowerment.
Empowering the student.
Exactly. The document emphasizes that coaches don't have all the answers.
They're not the expert with a capital E.
It's more about guiding the student to find their own solutions. It's a partnership.
So instead of seeing a student as bad at math,
Yeah?
they see a student who might thrive with a different approach.
Or different learning style.
It's about focusing on the student's strengths.
Their resources, their unique way of seeing the world.
And here's a really interesting point.
What's that?
The document talks about allowing for solutionlessness.
Solutionlessness.
It's the idea that sometimes the process is the most valuable outcome.
Interesting.
It's not always about finding a concrete answer.
Sometimes it's about the journey.
The exploration, the experimentation,
The learning that happens along the way.
even the mistakes.
Mistakes are valuable.
They're opportunities to learn and grow.
And that's a life skill that goes way beyond academics.
So how can embracing this solutionless mindset empower us?
It's about letting go of the need to be right all the time.
Embracing curiosity and experimentation?
And being willing to learn from our missteps.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
It is. Now, the document also distinguishes coaching from other roles.
Consultant, trainer, mentor, facilitator.
Okay, so coaching is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right. Each role has its place.
And the ability to shift between them is valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But coaching is specifically about guiding the student to find their own solutions.
I love the analogy they use to illustrate this.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
The story of Michelangelo and the David statue.
Ah, classic.
Michelangelo didn't create David.
Hmm.
He revealed him,
The potential was already there in the marble.
waiting to be unleashed.
And that's what coaching is all about.
Helping students chip away at those self-doubts and limiting beliefs.
To reveal the amazing potential that's already inside them.
It gave me chills just thinking about it. So, let's talk about the essential qualities of a good coach.
What makes a great coach?
Well, the document emphasizes communication skills.
Huge. Being able to truly listen and express yourself clearly.
It's about building trust and rapport.
So the student feels safe to open up.
It's not just about words either.
Right. Body language matters too.
Tone of voice, eye contact,
All those subtle cues
they convey a message.
about whether the student is truly being seen and valued.
So it's about being present and attentive.
Absolutely.
And along with communication, empathy is crucial.
The ability to step into the student's shoes
To understand their challenges and fears.
without judgment
It's about setting aside our own assumptions.
and truly listening with an open heart.
And then there are analytical skills.
That's not just about being warm and fuzzy.
Right. You need to be able to assess the situation
Identify the root causes of the challenges.
and develop a strategic approach.
It's about connecting the dots.
Seeing the patterns.
A good coach needs to be both compassionate and strategic.
It's a powerful combination. And of course, flexibility is key.
Every student is different.
So a one-size-fits-all approach won't work.
You need to be able to adapt.
To the student's personality, learning style, and needs.
It's about being responsive and intuitive,
Always willing to adjust course.
based on the student's feedback and progress.
And finally, a commitment to self-reflection.
To continuous growth.
A good coach is always learning,
Always evolving, always improving,
modeling lifelong learning for their students.
because none of us have all the answers.
That's a good reminder. So now let's look at some practical frameworks.
Some tools for the coaching toolkit.
The first one is John Whitmore's GROW model.
Oh, the GROW model. It's a classic.
It's a great framework for guiding coaching conversations,
And it can be applied to any area of life.
not just academics.
Exactly.
I love how GROW stands for the steps: goal, reality, options, and will way forward.
It's like a roadmap for progress.
So let's say a student is struggling with procrastination.
A common problem.
The first step would be to define a clear goal.
A SMART goal.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
So instead of just saying, I want to stop procrastinating.
They might say, I will finish my history essay by Friday afternoon.
Much better.
Well,
A concrete goal to aim for.
Then they explore the reality of the situation.
Why are they procrastinating?
Fear of failure, poor time management.
It's about getting to the root of the problem.
And then brainstorming options.
What are some possible solutions?
Break the essay into smaller chunks. Get help from a tutor.
Try a different study environment.
It's about expanding their perspective.
And finally, they create a plan of action.
Specific steps they will take.
What support they need.
What obstacles might come up.
And how they'll overcome them.
Moving from intention to action.
Okay, now let's talk about WHOOP.
Whoop!
It's another mental strategy for achieving goals.
Okay.
And it has a strong scientific basis.
I like that.
It stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, and plan.
So walk me through it.
Let's say a student wants to improve their focus while studying.
Okay.
They would start by vividly imagining the outcome.
Picture themselves fully focused, absorbing information easily.
Exactly. It strengthens their motivation.
Then they identify the obstacle.
What's holding them back?
Maybe it's social media.
The ultimate distraction.
Or maybe it's their inner critic.
That little voice that whispers doubts.
And then they create a plan to overcome that obstacle.
An if-then plan.
Like, if I feel the urge to check my phone, then I'll take 3 deep breaths and refocus.
It's about having a strategy in place.
To outsmart those distractions.
Well, research shows it's super effective.
I'm adding WHOOP to my mental toolkit.
Good. It's a great one.
Now, beyond models and frameworks,
Yeah.
the document stresses the importance of listening and questioning.
Those are the foundations.
We've talked about listening.
But it's worth repeating.
It's more than just hearing words.
It's about creating a space where the student feels truly heard.
They actually quote Michael Ende's Momo.
Oh, I love that book.
It beautifully describes deep listening. It's not about giving advice.
No, it's about being fully present.
Attentive, receptive to what the other person is saying.
And when we truly listen,
Without judgment.
we create space for the other person to access their own wisdom,
It's like holding up a mirror.
reflecting back their brilliance.
Okay, and now for questioning.
Another powerful tool.
It's not about interrogating the student.
No, it's about asking open-ended questions.
Questions that unlock insights.
Challenge assumptions.
Empower the learner
Exactly.
instead of, why are you struggling?
You might ask, what's one thing you've tried that helped?
Or, if you could change one thing, what would it be?
It's about shifting from problem to possibility.
I love that.
The document also mentions scaling.
Scaling.
It's a way to help students assess their progress.
Okay.
So instead of vague feelings.
You use a scale to measure things.
Exactly.
Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you about this test?
Or, how much effort did you put into preparing for this presentation?
It brings clarity and objectivity.
And empowers the student to track their progress.
I'm loving all these tools.
They're great, right?
Now, one final concept before we wrap up.
Okay, what's that?
Meta-knowledge.
Meta-knowledge. Sounds intriguing.
It's knowledge about knowledge,
Whoa.
understanding how we learn,
What factors influence our learning?
and what strategies work best for us.
It's like becoming aware of our own learning operating system.
Exactly.
And the document breaks down a learning situation into 5 key aspects.
5. Lay them on me.
The learner, the learning content, the facilitator, fellow learners, and the learning environment.
So it's the whole picture again.
The whole ecosystem.
And each element interacts and influences the learning process.
It's complex but fascinating.
Which brings us to learning strategies.
Ah, yes. The million-dollar question. What works best?
And the answer is,
There is no one-size-fits-all approach.
every learner is different.
What works for one might not work for another.
So we need to embrace diversity.
Of learning styles and preferences.
Some students are visual learners.
Some are hands-on.
Some need quiet, others need background noise.
It's all about finding what works best for you.
And a good coach can help students discover their own optimal learning style.
Encourage experimentation, track progress, and identify what works.
It's about becoming self-directed learners.
An invaluable skill for life.
This deep dive has been amazing.
So much good stuff.
My brain is full.
I know what you mean. It's a lot to process.
But it's also fascinating.
It really makes you think differently about learning.
I'm already seeing connections to my own life.
That's great. It's all about applying these concepts,
To become more effective learners.
whether we're in school or not.
Right. Because these ideas go beyond the classroom.
They apply to personal growth in all areas of life.
Like those 5 life tasks we talked about?
Ah, yes. Work, community, love, self-worth, and spirituality.
It's a blueprint for a fulfilling life.
It really is.
Which area needs your attention right now?
It's a good question to ask yourself.
Focusing on one area can unlock success in others.
It's all connected.
And don't forget about the power of encouragement.
So important.
It can completely change someone's belief in themselves.
And their ability to learn and grow.
It's amazing how much our words can impact others.
Even small changes in our language can make a difference.
I'm definitely going to be more mindful of how I use encouragement.
Me too. It's a powerful tool.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about.
So many new ideas and tools to try.
I feel inspired.
That's what we like to hear.
And remember, everyone, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, there's always more to learn.
We encourage you to explore the source material further.
Delve deeper into the concepts that resonated with you.
And see how you can apply them to your own learning journey.
Maybe experiment with the Giro model or Whoop.
Or the power of scaling.
There's so much potential waiting to be unlocked.
That's a great way to put it.
So keep learning, keep growing.
And keep diving deep.
Until next time.